Okay, fantastic. All right, great. So, welcome to day 2 of the Future of Food Symposium 2021, being held online by the Centre for Business and Society at Coventry University. So, my name is Jordan Lazelle. I'm one of the lead organisers, and we're excited today to see so many people join us, and for the speakers who are going to be working across food and sustainability. And just a reminder that we kindly ask that you keep your microphones on mute during the symposium opening and over the course of this 2-day event, and we ask that you are respectful to the speakers and the chairs. So, as a reminder of the lead organisers, the hosts, I'm Jordan Lazelle, a research assistant at CBIZ. Also, we're joined by Marsha Smith, doctoral researcher and founder of Nottingham Social Eating Network, and my colleague David Beck, associate professor, again at CBIZ, and I'm sure you'll see us today in several of the events that will happen today. So, just back to a reminder of of what is the Future of Food Symposium, and this year's theme of from recovery to resilience. So, we're really addressing here that COVID has had a wide-reaching impact, and it's somewhat reframed several sustainability challenges. New problems has emerged, at the same time it's exacerbated existing issues. Food remains at the centre of a sustainable transition, and its future is critical to the livelihood of people and the planet. And really drill down into several of the issues related to that today, as the final day of the symposium. So I thought I'd give a short summary of what was the symposium yesterday, and I've picked out a few key themes. So I think the first one was food sharing, and the first keynote, Anna Davis, she shared insight on the Share City project, and we learned that food sharing has a wide-reaching definition. It's a practice that is at the heart of how communities come together and organise around food. And not only food sharing, it's just about food sharing food. Food sharing is not just about sharing food itself. It's about sharing knowledge and resources and facilitating access to food-grown spaces. We also heard a lot around the digitalisation of food sharing. So our second keynote speaker, Jamie Crummy, he emphasised how technology is really critical in tackling food waste, and that technology that's now available via apps that allow a greater connection has reframed the meaning of food sharing itself. It's more accessible now, it's more of an inclusive practice, and it's increasing the engagement of food sharing via apps by individuals and also by businesses as well. We also had a whole track of presentations around the role of digital platforms, sustainable food solutions, and this really interrogated factors that are facilitating food sharing. We talked about the success of them and the drawbacks, and how they function as a technological structure or system. So another prominent theme was the reality of what's being unfolding on the front line for community food groups. So these organisations saw a significant increase in demand over the pandemic, and we had 2 events yesterday that looked at this further. We presented some research undertaken by Marsha and David, and I was part of that team as well, that exposed the constraints that such organisations were under during the pandemic. We heard from Fair Share Midlands and the Central England Co-op on how they scaled up their resources and services in difficult circumstances. There's also a theme around the perception of edibility and how this related to waste yesterday. So we heard from researchers looking at viscerality of the body, and how this impacts packaging, and how people know when food's no longer safe to consume. We've had smart labelling presented as one potential answer to this. So I think these themes are underpinned by wider challenges about how we build resilience in a changing context. There's societal structures that underpin how we access and consume food that seem to be constantly shifting at the moment, and organisations are really finding it difficult to place or put in place future-proof sustainable practices within this changing context. And finally, I definitely think that there was a underpinning aspect of exhaustion yesterday and disruption in terms of how staff or volunteers from community food groups and hospitality staff, for example, on the front line that have been providing us with food, they're exhausted, and perhaps they're worried about what the kind of further changes are to come in light of Brexit and withdrawal of government support soon as well. So I've just picked out there a few kind of key outcomes from yesterday. I wasn't able to go through all the sessions, so I look forward to watching them back afterwards. So a bit more about what we can expect today at the symposium. So following the two keynote speakers, we have track D presentations. So this is looking at alternative experiences of producing and consuming. And at the same time, in the other Zoom link, there's a track on sustainable sourcing and ethical consumption, that should say, sorry. And then at 1 o'clock, we've got two panel debates. So the first being our logos and logistics, the challenges and opportunities of certifying food production to promote sustainable consumption. I've also, at the same time, there's a panel debate on mandatory food waste reporting for businesses. And these are both, again, represented by industry experts and academics that have been researching in these fields. And then we'll round off today by the last track of presentations, looking at the food supply chain and transitioning towards a circular economy. And then a quarter past 4, there'll be a symposium closing where I'll give, again, a bit of kind of summary of what we've talked about over these 2 days. And there'll be a call for someone else, perhaps another university or organisation, to take over the symposium next year. It'd be great to see it continue. Okay. So how are we doing for time? Okay. Oh, just a reminder as well that there is a hashtag, so FFS 2021, that's running on Twitter. So if you want to send some tweets out about anything that's happening today, that's the hashtag to use. And there was quite a few tweets yesterday that used that. Okay.